Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Dylan and I'm here to help you prepare for the upcoming SAT papers. Now, we have put a lot of work in so far. We've done loads of videos to help you prepare, but this is something that's come up a lot in the comments, people asking for it. So here it is. Every single 3-mark question that's ever come up before in the SAT papers, how to answer them and how to get 3 out of 3 and how to avoid getting 0, 1, and 2. So before we dive in, I've got a quick favor to ask you guys. Could you please like this video? Could you please subscribe to our channel? We've got way more content coming in the future. And most importantly, could you share this video and our channel with as many people as you think would find it useful? Because we put a lot of work into these videos and we know you guys appreciate it because we see the amazing comments every day. So just let's spread the love, right? Let's spread it out. Let's make these videos boom and help as many people as possible. So let's dive straight in. And the first thing to note is that 3-mark questions are rare. You tend to only get 1 every year. And the reason is because there's lots to do in them. And there is a step up from the 2-mark questions, which come up quite frequently in the SAT papers, to a 3-mark question. And that tends to be the amount of work you've got to do to get to the right answer. So let's take a look. This is from the 2016 paper. This is the 3-mark question from that year. Miss Mills is making jam to sell at the school fair. Strawberries cost £7.50 per kilogram. So I'm going to start underlining key information. Nothing wrong with that. Sugar costs 79 pence per kilogram. Straight away, you should notice that the units are different here. That's going to come into play. 10 glass jars cost £6.90. Not 1 glass jar, 10. So again, just keep that in mind. She uses 12 kilograms of strawberries, 10 kilograms of sugar to make 20 jars full of jam. The question is, what's the total cost to make the 20 jars of jam? Now, I'm going to let you have a go at solving this first. And as you do it, I want you to think about this. How many mathematical steps are there? Because it might be different to what you're thinking right now. I'll see after if you got the answer right or wrong. Okay, so hopefully you've got an answer now. Let's see how many steps there were exactly. So we want 20 jars full of jam. Okay, so the first thing I do is work out how many of those jars would cost because 10 glass jars is £6.90. So I'm always going to show my working out because that's how I'm going to get marks if I get it wrong, and we'll go through that after. And I need to not multiply this by 20, even though there are 20 jars needed, because this £6.90 is for 10. So I just need to double this, double £6.90 again, just show you working out. You might be able to double £6.90 in your head. I mean, yeah, sure, you probably get it right, but just make sure by writing down your answers, put your decimal in. 2 6s are 12 plus 1 is a 3. So £13.80, that's how much the jars cost. We could call that one step. Next up, let's work out how much money she spent on the strawberries. So £7.50 per kilogram for a strawberry. And we've got here 12 kilograms of strawberries. So we need to do £7.50 multiplied by 12. Now, the cool thing here is you don't need to do long multiplication if you know your 12 times table. You could just treat 12 almost like it's a 1-digit number. Let me show you what I mean. 12 times 0 is 0. 12 times 5, well, if you know your times tables, you know that's 60. So we put 60 in, exchange over the 6. And then we have 7 times 12. Again, if you know your times tables, that's 84 plus the 6 gives us 90. So we have £90 on strawberries. My goodness, that's a lot on strawberries. And then the last step here, we've done 2 so far. We need to work out how much she spent on sugar. 10 kilograms of sugar. So we simply take 79p, which we need to be aware of. It's in pence, not in pounds. We're going to multiply that by 10 and we get 790 pence. Again, multiplying by 10 is easy. So we don't need to exactly show that step because we're not going to do any formal method. We just make it 10 times bigger. 790 pence, which is equal to £7.90 because there are 100 pence in a pound. And so far, we've done 3 steps for a 3-mark question. So we get 3 marks, right, if we stopped there? No. This is actually 4 steps to get the mark. That's why it's worth 3 marks here, because there's just so much math to do. Because the last thing we have to do is to combine all of these amounts together to find the total. And to do that, that combination, we're going to add them. So £13.80, add £7.90. And as always, the most efficient way to add 3 numbers is to do it all at once. We have 90 as well at the bottom. And we can simply go 1 column at a time from the smallest column to make sure we get the right total. 0 there. 8 plus 9 is 17, and make sure you put in your decimal place. 3 plus 7 is 10, plus 1 is 11. Again, in the £10 column now, 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 1 is 11. We have £111 and 70 pence. Now, that would get us 3 marks. But what I want to do is show you the mark scheme so we never ever get confused as to how we're going to get 3 marks. So straight up, award 3 marks for £111.70. The cool thing about that is if there was no working out whatsoever, and you still put £111.70, you'd get 3 marks. But do not ever do that. There is no point just trying to do it all in your head, I promise you. But you get 3 marks simply for having that number. That's the only way you get 3 marks, if you have this number in this box to show that this is the answer. So you might be thinking, okay, well, what about 2 marks or 1 mark or 0? Because you know what? Getting 1 or 2 is better than getting 0. Well, let's see what it says. 2 marks. Award 2 marks for site of £90 and £7.90 and £13.80. So that's what we had after the first 3 steps. We worked out how much the jars cost, the strawberries cost, and we worked out how much the sugar cost. Doing these 3 steps here would get you 2 marks. Okay, so this is not like the other 2 mark questions where you need to show all of the method in its entirety to even get a mark. No. Because there's a lot going on here, the rules slightly change. So if we'd stopped and forgotten to add them all up and done something completely different here, we'd still get 2 marks because look, the mark scheme says have all evidence for all of the multiplication steps, or evidence of an appropriate complete method with no more than 1 error. That's the traditional way we remember getting 1 mark in a 2 mark question. So if I'd got all of this and I'd got the addition as well, but somewhere in here I did the maths that was incorrect. So maybe I did 9 times 2 is 16. That would be an incorrect arithmetic error. If I did just one of them, then I'd also get 2 marks. To get 1 mark, you have evidence of an appropriate complete method. So again, you can get 1 mark if your method is right, but you made more than 1 mistake. Okay, so even just showing you working out is a way to get 1 mark and also even 2 marks. Okay, so you need to show you're working out because you can't rely on getting the right answer. You might get the right answer, but if you show you're working out, this is the way to get 1 or 2. If you don't show any working out, you're obviously going to get 0. What was really interesting, I thought here, was you could get 2 marks out of 3 if you see 9,000 pence, 790 pence, 1,380 pence. Okay, that still gets you 2 marks if you hadn't converted them to pounds. That would still get you 2 marks in terms of it's in pence. The reason why that's 2 marks is because, look, it's in pounds there. So it's showing that you can do the maths, but you've left it in pence and you've just shown the multiplication step. So that actually still qualifies as showing this step here, which would get you 2 marks. Let's try another one. This time you're going to read it yourself. This is from 2017. We're working through the years as we go through. Can you get the right answer? I'll go through it after. Okay, so another 3 mark question here. Let's take a look. A square tile measures 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters. We've looked at this before in a video, and the best thing to do here is to always label what you can see. So this square is 20 by 20. Cool. CM, just don't forget that. You can put CM here if you want to make sure. No harm in doing that. A rectangular tile is 3 centimeters longer. So again, it's longer on this lengthways by 3, so that's going to be 23 centimeters, and 2 centimeters narrower. This is testing our knowledge of vocabulary. Narrower means smaller. It's the opposite of wider. It's getting thinner. So to make it 2 centimeters narrower, this is going to be 18 centimeters. Now this labeling here is a great place to start. What's the difference in area between the 2 tiles? So I've got lots to do. I've kind of already done one step, doing my +3 and my -2, right? So I want you to have a go, and I'm going to solve it after. What do you think you're going to get? Okay, so rectangular tile, we're going to start with that one because it's a bit more complicated. So to find the area of this, we have the width times the height. We have 23 multiplied by 18. Cool. And we're going to do long multiplication. So 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 2 is 16, plus the 2 is 18, 184. Now we're going to multiply by 10, so we put a placeholder. 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 2 is 2. This is going to give us the total area of the rectangular shape. So we have 4 in the ones, 8 plus 3 is 11, 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 4. We have 414 centimeters squared. Now a square is still a rectangle, but it's a special kind of rectangle. So now let's work out the area of this square. We have 20 multiplied by 20. This is something I wouldn't be doing long multiplication for. I'd be using my times table facts. 2 times 2 is 4. And I have 10 times bigger on this side, 10 times bigger on that side. So it's the same as 400 centimeters squared. And now let's look at the question really carefully. What is the difference in area? To find the difference between 2 numbers, we take the larger number and we subtract the smaller number. And what's left is how much of a gap there is between those 2. In this case, it is just 14 centimeters squared. So interestingly on this one, we have 1 step to work out the area of the rectangle, 1 step to work out the area of the square, 1 step to find the difference, and technically 1 step to work out the dimensions of the rectangle. So again, technically 4 steps here. This is why it's a 3-mark question. Let's take a look at the answers here. Award 3 marks for the correct answer of 14. Super. So I'd have got 3 marks in that last one. But how do you get 2 marks? Well, cite of 414 as evidence of 23 multiplied by 18. So you're going to get 2 marks if you work out the dimensions of this new rectangle and calculate the correct area of 414. Gets you 2 marks straight away. What an easy way to get 2 marks. Or evidence of an appropriate method all the way through with 1 arithmetic error. That's a common theme. Okay, if you make 1 arithmetic error but you show you're amazing working out, that is why in this box here it says show your method. Because it's trying to say to you basically, if you get it wrong but show your method, there are still chances to get marks. 1 mark is going to be down here, evidence of an appropriate method, but you might make way more mistakes. But if you did the right kind of layout and you used the right numbers in the first place, you're going to make the mistakes later on. That can still get you a mark. Okay, so there's loads of chances to get a mark. I thought this was really interesting. A bit of extra kind of context from the mark scheme. Answer need not be obtained for the award of 1 mark. So you don't need to actually get to an answer to get 1 mark. You can literally just show method. So there are ways to get a mark in this maths paper without even giving an answer. That seems crazy, but because it's a 3-mark question, you can. And I like this kind of thing. This comes up quite a lot about being misread. A misread of a number may affect the award of marks. No marks are awarded if there is more than 1 misread. So if you misread a number once, you can still get marks. More than once, it just says no, you're not getting the question. You need to read it carefully. 2 marks will be awarded for an appropriate method using a misread number. So if you misread a number, but then do everything else perfectly, you can still get 2 marks. 1 mark will be awarded for evidence of an appropriate method using the misread number. So that's 1 mistake. And 1 arithmetic error. So they're your 2 mistakes. That's why it gets knocked down to 1. I thought that was really interesting. Let's take a look at the 2018 3-mark question. You have a go yourself, then I'll go through it after, see what you get. There are 28 pupils in a class. The teacher has 8 litres of orange juice. She pours 225 millilitres. Look at this, a common theme. The units being different, what we're measuring in, of orange juice for every pupil, how much orange juice is left over. Now, one of the big things about these 3-mark questions is actually working out what you actually need to do. That's the problem solving. Like, what do I even do with these numbers? Do I do 28 times 8? Would that make any sense? Well, no, because each child's not getting 8 litres of juice. So you need to really understand what's going on. Sometimes I like to draw pictures. So she pours 225 ml. So I can even label on this actually 225. And my cup here is 225 as well for each child. So that's 28 children. So I need 28 lots of 225 milliliters. That's the first thing I'm going to do then, because that will tell me how much orange juice is used in total. Because the question is, how much is left over? So let's do 225, and you'll see very often in these 3-mark questions, there is some long multiplication. Because if you think about the arithmetic test, long multiplication is often 2 marks. So I guess what they're doing here is rewarding you for getting long multiplication correct and solving the problem. 5 times 8 is 40. 8 times 2 is 16, plus that 4 that I've got to exchange over gets me to 20. And then 8 times 2 is going to get me 16, plus that 2 is 18, 1,800. Down here, I'm multiplying by 20, so I put my placeholder in. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4, plus the 1 is 5. 2 times 2 is 4. So the total juice that she used up was 0 in the 1s, 0 in the 10s, 1,300s, exchange over, and then 6 in the thousands. So we have 6,300 milliliters. How much juice did she have in total to begin with? Well, this was 8 liters. Again, conversion is part of this process. Let's do 8,000 because milli literally means 1,000. So 8 liters is 8,000 milliliters. Nearly got my words muddled up then. I'm going to take away the 6,300 that she poured out for the children. And then what's left is going to be our answer. 0 take away 0, 0 take away 0, 0 take away 3. Do not put 3 here. 0 take away 3 is not 3. We have to exchange. Now we get 10 take away 3 is 7. 7 take away 6 is 1. We get 1,700. Boom. Do I need to put milliliters? Should I put it? Well, I should put it, but do I need to? Well, let's check the mark scheme. Well done if you get 1,700. Look at this straight away. Unit need not be given for the award of 3 marks. You could have left the units off and got 3 marks, but this is the kicker. An incorrect unit is treated as 1 error. Oh my gosh. So let's go through this really quickly. If you wrote down 1,700, you could get 3 marks. If you wrote down 1,700 milliliters, you get 3 marks. There's no difference. There's no difference. If you wrote down 1700 and accidentally put liters, you're going to get 2. You're going to lose a mark because it counts as an error. This doesn't count as an error, leaving it blank. This does count as an error because it's an active choice to put in liters. My goodness, that's worth thinking about, isn't it? So 3 marks, as always, for putting 1.7 liters or 1,700 milliliters. Again, you're not given the units, so you could have put 1.7 liters. That would be absolutely fine. But putting 1,700 liters is wrong, and they got counted as a mistake. Very interesting. Okay, yes, award 2 marks for the site of 6,300 or 6.3. So again, much like previously, you don't need to go all the way through to get 2 marks. This stage here gets you 2 marks. And like I said, it's because, look, on the arithmetic, if you solved this, you would get 2 marks. So it seems like they're making that link there. You get 2 marks just for doing that. You get the final mark for making that last jump, which is to work out what's left over. I thought it was very, very useful. The rest of it's there, guys, if you want to pause and see what the other ones are. But I want to move on now to the next 3-mark question. So again, these are all real. I want you to try and solve it yourself. Read it yourself, then I'll go through how to do it. Lena makes jewellery to sell at a school fair. Each bracelet has 53 beads and she makes 68 bracelets. Each necklace has 105 beads and she makes 34 necklaces. How many beads does Layla use altogether? Is this long multiplication by any chance? Yes, we're really seeing a theme here. So here, let's say these are bracelets here. I know that's 53 beads for this bracelet and I want to make 68 of them. So I'm going to have to multiply that by 68. Down here, the necklaces, they're bigger. That makes 105 beads, and I want 34 of them. So to work out how many beads for the bracelets would be one step, how many beads for the necklaces would be another step. Let's do it. So we're going to have to do long multiplication. 53 multiplied by 68. My goodness me. 8 times 3 is 24. You got to know your times tables. 8 times 5, that's 40, plus the 2 is 42. Now we're multiplying by 60. Put your placeholder in. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 5 is 30. Add the 1 is 31, and let's add these up. Oh my gosh, she uses a lot of beads. 4 plus 1, this was a 1. 4 plus 1 plus 1 is 6, and then we have 3. She used 3,604 beads just on the bracelets. My goodness. Now let's work out the necklaces. So we have 34 multiplied by 105. Now I do a slightly different method here. I would split this up into 34 times 100. So 100 necklaces, because that's really easy. That's going to get me 3,400 beads. And I do 34 times 5 over here. This is good fluency because we know still there are 105 in total. 34 times 5 is 170. How do I multiply by 5 so quickly? Multiply by 10 and halve it. So 340 halved is 170 beads. That means I can put these together now to get a total number of beads for the necklaces. 7 in the tens, 5 in the hundreds, 3 in the thousands, and I get 3,570 beads. Cool. I probably, if I was to make a prediction, get 2 marks for doing this. I reckon I'd get 2 out of 3. Let's get that final mark because we want to know how many beads are there all together. We're going to add them up because it says all together. 3604, and we get 3570, and we're going to add them up. That is a 7, not a 2. Be careful when you're writing these down because lots of children get muddled up here. 4 in the ones, 7 in the hundreds, 7 in the tens, 11 in the hundreds, exchange over, and 7 there. 7174 beads. I hope I got 3 marks. Should we find out? Yes, 7174 gets us 3 marks straight away. Boom. Now, my prediction was, by writing these two, I'd get 2 marks. Let's find out. If the answer is incorrect, award 2 marks for evidence of an appropriate complete method which contains no more than one arithmetic error. It hasn't let me get 2 marks for doing my 2 long multiplication. Why not? Well, I'll tell you why. This prediction was wrong because this actually is a 3-step problem. You do 53 times 68, you do 34 times 105, then you add them up. Previous questions have been 4 or 5 steps to get the answer. You had to do something else along the way, so it gives you more leeway. This is just three steps. 3 steps for 3-mark question. So it's not going to be as kind, and you need to think about this when you sit and do 3-mark questions. Just do everything. Just make sure, because you never know what the mark scheme will say. Go all the way to the end and finish the question off. Award 1 mark for evidence of appropriate method with more than 1 mistake. So 1 mistake gets you 2, more than 1 mistake gets you 1 if you get the right method for both. Or you get 1 mark for site of 3,604, so you've done that correct. Or 1 mark for 105 times 34. So instead of getting 2 marks for both, you just get 1 mark if you showed one of them. If you showed 2 of them, it's still just 1 mark. You have to go further to get 2 marks in this question. I thought that was really, really interesting. Right, let's have a go at this question now then. It's a 3-mark question. Oh my goodness me, this caused a ruckus when this was released. A lot of teachers were not happy with how tricky this question was. Guys, you're going to have a go yourself. Just so you know, this is the table of New York Marathon runners per decade, because I missed a bit of the question at the top, but you can still solve it using everything here. Have a go yourself. Can you get the right answer? And think to yourself, what would I get 2 marks for? What would I get 1 mark for? Oh my gosh, what is the mean number? So I have to work out the average, that's the first thing, of people who finished the marathon per decade. Round your answer to the nearest 100. It gives me another step at the end. Okay, so to work out the mean, I need to add up each amount from each decade and then divide by how many decades there are. So I need to add up all of these numbers here. My goodness me, I'm actually going to do it right where it's written. So let's look at the ones. 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 4 is 9 in the ones. Cool. Now let's look at the tens. 6 plus 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11, plus 2 is 13. Okay, and exchange over the 1. 8 plus 9 is 17, plus 4 is 21, plus 8 is 29, plus 1 is 30. So we're going to put a 3 across here. Oh my gosh. So next one, in the thousands columns. 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 3 is 9. And then we have 2 plus 7 is 9, plus 8 is 17. Plus 5 is 22. Oh my gosh. I'm worried I'm going to make a mistake. There's usually some mistake in these videos. So I have 22 there. And then in the 100,000s column, 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8. We have 829,039. Cool. 829,039. Do you think we'd get 1 mark for that? I'm not so sure. We'll find out in a second. Now, to work out the mean, which is the first part of this question, we need to now divide this by the fact that there are 4 decades in question. 4s into 8 go twice. 4s into 2 don't go. Exchange that 2 over. 4s into 29 go 7 times, because 7 4s are 28 with 1 left over. 4s into 10 go twice. 2 times 4 is 8 with 2 left over. 4s into 23 go 5 times, because 4 times 5 is 20 with 3 left over. 4s into 39 go 9 times, which is 36, which means there's 3 left over. I'm going to put my decimal place in the placeholder. 4s into 30 go 7 times again, because that's 28 with 2 left over. Put another placeholder. 4s into 20 go exactly 5 times, nothing left. So we have here 207,259. 0.75 people. We know we can't get 0.75 people, but we've worked out the mean. Cool. We've done that part. Now look, round your answer to the nearest 100. So we need to take our answer here and round it to the nearest 100. To do this, what do we do? Well, we're going to round to the nearest 100, which is a 2 here. So we look at the tens column, which is a 5, and we're going to round up. So the answer is 207,300, because we're rounding from 2 up to 3. That's the mean number of people who've taken part each decade, rounded to the nearest 100. Let's see if we get 3 marks. Yes, we do. 207,300. Awesome. There's 3 marks right there. Super. Now, my working out here, I did an addition, I did a division, and then I did a rounding. Now, at this point, I'm thinking, gosh, I actually don't know what's going to be put down for 1 or 2 marks here. I know I've got 3 marks, but how would I have got 2? How would I have got 1 mark? Let's find out. If the answer is incorrect, award 2 marks for evidence of an appropriate complete method that has 1 error. That's really common to get 2 marks for. That always comes up. That's good to know. So if I'd done everything here, but maybe perhaps I just did 1 error when I did my division, then I'd still get the right answer. Okay, cool. Or there's another way to get 2 marks. Cite of the evidence, yes, cool, of finding the mean. So 207,259.75 or remainder 3 or 3/4. So you'd get 2 marks. If I'd stopped here, this would have got me 2 marks. That's good to know, because my rounding then was just to get the extra mark at the end. Cool. Okay, I'll award 1 mark for complete correct method, but with multiple mistakes. So again, that's cool. That's why you need to show your whole method out. Okay, if you make multiple mistakes on the way, you can still get 1 mark. That's really interesting. And what it said earlier, you don't even need to put an answer sometimes to get 1 mark, which just seems crazy to me. So here, now it's your turn. And what you're going to do, you're going to turn into the marker. Could you have listened really carefully during this video on how to get 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 marks? So here's my working out. Pause the video if you want. Well, you'll have to, I guess, because the video is about to end. Would I have got 0, 1, 2, or 3 marks for my working out for this question? What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll be really interested that if you were a SATs marker, what would I get? Guys, hope you found this video really useful and insightful, and now you're ready to smash those 3-mark questions, and I'll see you again next time for another video.